Shalom and blessings in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, whom the world calls Jesus Christ. This live is simply about everything that we have been using, that the whole entire planet benefits from, everything, and prospers and makes millions from. Jesus is the person they call Jesus, which is the European version of Caesar Borgia, the European version of my black Mashiach, Yahushua HaMashiach, or Emmanuel. His people created everything that is being used today that benefits and prospers the world in the hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions, by things that we use every day and probably take it for granted. I know that I was on here earlier today. I did a live earlier today, but I decided to come back and talk about my people, the people of Yah, or who they call Jesus. Is I say Jesus, but his name is Yahusha, right? His people. I'm just showing that his people who went wrong, right, are blackamoors. Pointer. The blackamoors, right? Excuse me for 1 minute. All right, so the blackamoors. I just wanted to show where my people came from, right? I didn't have a pointer or something to point with. The blackamoors, right? We were just not, as I was taught, we were slaves in Africa, from Africa, and that's it, right? But these people, these black people, blackamoor people, are royalty who created everything, right? When slavery happened, the Inquisition and all them other things, they were brought to certain parts of the world, especially the Americas, and started their inventions, right? Started their inventions because they've been making them all over the world. And why not Yahushas, whom the world calls Jesus people? Why would they not be making everything? The Hebrews are the one that built the pyramids and the sphinxes. All of the civilizations, Tartarian Empire, the civilizations were all built by black folk, right? So these are the blackamoors right here, right? It says British families, top left, the Moors of Yorkshire, including Sir Thomas More, Chancellor of Henry VIII, right? So Henry VIII was really black, right? These are the royal crest, the book of crests. I know you wasn't taught this in your universities or colleges, but black people are still royal, but just don't know it, right? Due to colonization and everything that has happened to us as a people, all over the world. The Moors were destroyed and everything stolen. The temples and the elaborate castles and things like that were all taken, right? These are other images right here of royalty right here at that time. See? A fine example of misinformation, whether professional or not, right? Building upon misinformation, right wing of an altar. Peace said to be in St. Maurice Church in Halle, Germany, right? This group of young black men are said to be members of the Theban Legion. Only one is in armor relating to the mythical Saint Maurice, right? So this is what royalty used to look like then, right? This probably in the 15 or 1400s, right? This is right here is the son of King James, beloved to be James Francis Edward Stuart, Prince James III of England, right? Prince James, the son of deposed King James II of England, right? But you don't get taught these things. This person has white hair that they have, right? So this right here is the original rulers of London, Britain, France and Spain, that you're not taught because everything has been whitewashed. Iconoclasm, right? This is 1647, King James, it says Moore Bible with royal crest inside. This is Queen Scott Mary Stuart. She's black, right? There's other images and pictures of her, right? She's black. Only reason why all of the other nations are over the blacks, the Moors and the Africans, so-called Africans, the Hamites, the Cushites, the Hebrews, the Judeans, is because prophecy and scripture allowed that to be the case. I'm just showing you who black people were before colonization. Right? All right. So it's no surprise, it's no wonder that the ancient Egyptians are black, right? The ancient Egyptians are black. Colonization says today they're, but look at these nose and his lips. Does that look Asian to you? Right? So there's no surprise that black people created everything, right? Pharaoh and, there's no surprise that black people created everything that you use. I am just showing different kingdoms of black people before the colonization or before the takedown of the Catholic Church of the black Moors that ruled the entire world. The Dark Ages, yes, was when blacks was ruling. The Renaissance, starting in 1492, is the whitewashing and the taking down of the Moors all over the world. The last place the last couple places the black Moors ruled was Spain, Russia, and Prussia. So you see the European Russians over there speaking Russian. Well, that is black. That comes from the black Moors language. The Moors invited the Europeans in who were in caves, who used to be called wild men, walking around in the forest. You see the old pictures from the 11th and 1200s. You see that the European-looking men always were trying to get into the castles, fighting. And the Moors felt sorry. The black Moors, which they made a mistake, they felt sorry for these, I guess, European creatures or European people who had hair all over them. There's images, and they were born with tails too. There's all sorts of images. They taught them how to bathe, how to do everything, and they loved that pale skin, which is why a reason why the Moors failed. Right? These are blacks in royalty right here, but they were into darkness. Right? These are blacks royalties right here. Ancient Egyptian, all the dynasties were all black. Right? This is how it used to be, which probably every so-called white person will rejoice that it's never like this. It's not like this now, right? It's not like this now. They're rejoicing and happy This is when Moors were in complete rulership of the entire planet. And this person right here, no doubt, is a Moor, right? The so-called white person used to kneel and bow. Back in those days, the darker skin you were, the more prestige or honor was given to you by other Moors and these people right here, right? Right? And they're the ones that made you hate yourself. I don't like my black skin. I'm just showing that the history of royalty before I get into the inventions of black people who created everything. When I say everything, I mean every single entire thing that you could think of that you use, insignificant, right? Assyrians were black. They were rulership, right? The ancient Assyrians were black people too, as well. It's no surprise that the ancient black people been ruling, and not just, oh, you're just slaves from Africa and that's it, right? You're just slaves from Africa and that's it. And by the way, Leo Cyprius Africanus is a Roman general who defeated Hannibal in the Second Punic War, right? BC, and claimed Alkebulan, which is the name of Africa in that continent, Alkebulan, and named it after himself. As the scripture said, they take over places and they name it after themselves. There's a place called Philadelphia. A Roman general is named Philadelphus. That's where the word Philadelphia comes from, right? This is how another image painting, it says people of color in European art history. This is from 1500, right? Master of Alexander Arborichin of the Magi, Netherlands, 1500. 1500. So just think about all the money that you spend for your universities, so-called prestige universities and college. And if you get into who created the school system, learning and curriculums, you'll see why you probably never ever heard of the Moors ruling. Because the great deception and the great lie is it was always pale skin, pink skin people ruling all throughout history, even in the heart of Africa. Sunscreen wasn't invented until the 1930s, I believe. So you're ruling in the heart of Africa, in ancient Egypt and other places? But that's what Hollywood does, right? That's what Hollywood does. So these are the Moors. They were royal and prestige. And the so-called people that are called white today were taken in as their slaves. But they were against slavery. They couldn't do nothing with them. Y'all in caves, y'all covered in hair, y'all look like woolly mammoths, y'all look like monsters. There's nothing we can really do but try to help you out. And the black Moors, in trying to help them out, they ended up having their heads chopped off in their bed, laying with their women, because the Moors, as an account, it's written in different accounts, said they loved that pale skin. Right? They loved that pale skin. And in return, they were destroyed nation by nation, like the Chinese do in Africa. Oh, I'm gonna marry somebody from Africa. Now this is my land. Look it up. It's in history books. How can we take this land from this people? How can we take this land from this people? Let's marry them, kill them in, and say it's our land now. And that's what they essentially did. Right? This is how it used to be. But you're not taught this in your so-called colleges or universities, spending all that money to get a curriculum that's created to whitewash the history of the black Moor rulership that you never heard about. So when you hear this, you try to write disparaging comments. Doesn't mean a thing, right? Did you know, it says, did you know California is named after a black queen named Califia, right? Did you know this? Not only black people, and I don't have all of every single one. It'd be like 700, 800, 900, but it's just a few that I have. To let the watcher know that black people, Yahusha, whom the world calls Jesus. How do we know that black people are his descendants? His name is Yahusha, by the way. Jesus, I say Jesus because that a lot of people say Jesus, but the black Messiah is named Yahusha or Emmanuel, interpreted Yah with us. Why is that? Because Moses, my great ancestor, who was black, they were all black, prophesied that the people that rejected Yahweh, his writings, his commandments, and by the way, in the Ethiopian Bible, Yah or Yahweh is in that Bible. Not Lord, which means devil, Baal, Baal, not Lord or God, because the true Hebrews wrote from right to left, not left to right, right? So when you say God, you're saying dog. When you say Lord God, Lord means Baal, Baal. Look it up, it's in scripture, right? So the black Mashiach, whom the world calls Jesus by the European people. See, you got to realize King James was a black man. He was a Moor. He was a Jacobite, right? He was of the tribe of Jacob, but he didn't specify what tribe he was from, right? And in his book, in his Bible, there's no letter J. And there's middle books called the apocryphal books, right? Apocryphal books that European power took out. Once all of the black Moors were defeated all over the world, we're going to change the belief system of your black Messiah, your blacks, you Hebrews, your black Messiah, and we're going to add a letter J to it. But Jesus means, the J-E means earth, mother goddess, mother earth, and the S-U-S means swine. It means pig. Look it up. I dare you to doubt me. Yahusha is his name, right? But the European powers, by the Most High Yahweh, because we, the Hebrews, the blacks, rejected him in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. And how do we know that we're his people? How can one determine that? Because he said you will be at the lower bottom of everybody and all nations and societies. So even though the blacks were ruling, most of the Hebrews were still enslaved and in chains in other nations and in other countries. Right? Bethlehem is in Africa. He told Joseph to take Yahusha, whom you call Jesus, to Egypt. Where's Egypt? In Africa. The Suez Canal was created to separate it. You used to walk to Egypt. It was separated. I dare you to doubt me. Look it up. See when the Suez Canal was created. Egypt is in Africa, and they were all black. So he said, take the child to Egypt, because you can blend right in Egypt. You blend right in Egypt because the Messiah, Yahusha, whom you call Jesus, which means earth pig, earth swine, right? I love Yahusha. The white man put Jesus in there. King James had Isus, I-E-S-U-S, but his name is Yahusha, or Emmanuel, interpreted Yahweh with us. You can't beat history, right? These are rulers right here, letting you know the royalty of blacks, and not just, they were just slaves and they were dumb and stupid and that's it. No, right? This is another ruler right here that you haven't been taught in your so-called college, your so-called prestigious. You spend 100 and something thousand, 100 to learn nothing. Right? To learn nothing. Let's see. John D. Rockefeller created the school system along with other so-called white people who created the school system. All the HBCUs were created by eugenicists. Doubt me, doubt my word. Look it up for yourself. right? Why were these places made? For so-called black people by the enemy who want to suppress information? Look it up. This looks familiar, right? This looks like that cross that He-Man wear, right? Comes from this black person right here. His name was, let's see, Prince of Congo, right? This is when the black Africans who ruled Europe from 711 to 1789. So the taking down of the black Moors, right? The taking down of the black Moors started in when? 1492. Spain, right? 1492 was the starting of, those were the last couple places that the European power, through the Most High, had allowed to take down the blacks that ruled the world. Because the blacks that ruled the world weren't right. They were praying to Yahushas, right? Because a black man is the one that created what you believe you're so devout to, Christianity. Constantine was black. I have other videos talking about him. He was black, right? And he created what you worship and you devout to today, if you're white or whatever you are. He created Christianity. And anity means to Vaticanize, right? Anity means to Vaticanize. All by Constantine, who was black, looked like Maurice, Saint Maurice right here. And by the way, the original popes, nuns, priests, bishops, whatever they do, were all black. There's hundreds of images all over Russia, all over Spain, all over Europe, hundreds and hundreds of images of paintings that you don't get taught in your so-called prestigious college or your prestigious school. That's about nothing. Spend all that money just for sports or just to be a part of a sorority or fraternity, which is demonic. Greek gods / demons that you pledge to, allegiance or oath, black people, and not learning none of your real history, but pledging an oath to demons and devils. But King James was black. Constantine was black. He was a sun worshiper, and he worshiped his god, Christos Helios, the true sun god, and he created what you love, Sunday, for sun worship. Not S-O-N worship, not Yahusha HaMashiach, but who you call Jesus, which means earth swine, earth pig. And why would the Most High Yah, that you call God, why would he let these people do these things? Why would he let these Europeans and other people do these things? Because we, made in his image and in his likeness, remember the book of Daniel, Daniel was in the spirit and he said, I saw God in heaven and he was black. Remember the book of John, John was in the spirit. John said, I saw God and he was black. Right? So why did he allow these things to happen to his people in his image and in his likeness? It is because we rejected him. In the Old Testament, the 613 laws, statutes, and commandments were given to a nation of people, the Yazraelites, whom the world calls Israelites, and the 12 tribes. You know, every son had sons, children, and it's called the 12 tribes, who did not want to do the 613 laws, statutes, and commandments in the Old Testament, the Old Covenant, the old economy. And we rejected our black Messiah, who was black, Yahusha, and rejected him and said, give us Barabbas. Give us Barabbas. Right? Thank you for subscribing. They said, give us Barabbas. And Barabbas means what? Son of God. So we didn't want the true Son of God. We wanted that Son of God. Because Barabbas means, look it up. Dare you to doubt me. It means Son of God. And we as black people today wonder why are we going through what we're going through? All the hatred, all the racism, innocent death, innocent people being locked up. If you defend yourself to fight back, why are these things happening? Because we are his people made in his image and in his likeness, and we rejected him. All throughout the Old Testament, we were called a stiff neck, evil people, killing each other. Black on black crime is nothing new. Job, the book of Job said, my skin is black upon me. White people came along and said, oh no, that means the way he felt. Solomon said, I am black. I am black. We are Yahusha HaMashiach's people. His people made in his image and in his likeness, how he looked in heavy. All that John saw is how he looked when he came to this earth, looking like Saint Maurice. And Saint Maurice was put to death when the Catholic Church, when the European Catholics started taking over the Holy Roman Empire that was called by Constantine. He took over the Roman Empire in 1294 AD, calling it the Byzantine Empire, which when you look and on History Channel and all these other different things that make documentaries, they'll say everybody was white in the Byzantine Empire and the Roman Empire stopped. No, that's a complete bold-faced lie. Constantine was black, like Saint Maurice that you see right here. He took over the Roman Empire, defeated them with help from his black general, a man by the name of Persinius Niger, or Nigger, but Niger, and he had coins made in his honor. That's why he's called Constantine the Great, or Constantine the First, because he had defeated ancient Rome, creating and adopting a belief from the true black believers, the Ethiopians, which is the oldest book that had most of the writing, right? Most of the Septuagint and all them things. Constantine adopted a belief 35 years later for the Holy Roman Empire called, and he named it Christianity. Why did he name it Christian first? Because when you read the Bible, it said we were called Christians in Antioch. Antioch worshiped their god, a demon called Serapis Christos, or Serapis Christos. Doubt my word and look it up for yourself. And Constantine was a pagan. Yes, he was a black man. He was a pagan. The Egyptian Empire, the Egyptian dynasties and Egyptian empire were into darkness. That's why Black God or Black Yahweh destroyed the black pharaohs in ancient Egypt. It's all about black people. It's always been. That's what the whole book, that's what what they call Bible under Constantine, Biblios. It was a place called Biblios. Supposed to be the goddess of all writing. There is a place called Biblios, right? These are the coins right here to let you know that, oh, we're just not African slaves, and that's just it. And we just came, no. How did black people create everything? Because we came from these lands inventing everything already. All the cultures, all the civilizations created all by black people. Ancient Egypt, ancient Assyrian, ancient Babylon, ancient Persia, ancient Medes, all black. All black, right? And because the Most High said, I only have known you, that's why I'm going to let you suffer. You're going to go into every land, right? Slavery, persecution, captivity. Read Ezekiel, read Jeremiah, read Isaiah, read Amos, read Moses, read Deuteronomy. Only one group of people it fits into, where millions and millions and millions and hundreds of thousands and thousands of blacks went to slavery, persecution, and captivity, and is today lower than everybody. Oh, he played for the NBA. He played for the NFL. Anytime they want to take that money and silence you, they're taking that money. It's not even your money. Is a lie. It's not even money. It's not even their money. Oh, he plays for the NFL. He's successful. He's accomplished. But what did he have to join to get that? Scripture said the earth is Yah's and the fullness thereof. You got to be able to take the sun, right? Okay, these are all the captivities of the Hebrews. One is missing. Egyptian captivity, 1500 BC. Assyrian captivity. The Egyptians were black. The original Syrians were black. Babylonian captivity with Nebuchadnezzar, Darius I, Darius II. It's all on it, written on that hieroglyphs. 586 BC. All black captivity by the Hebrews. The Hebrews have been going into, the Judeans have been going into captivity, right? Greek captivity. The original Greeks were black, taken over by the European looking ones, and the Judeans joined in with the Greek in the captivity and was forced to undergo and do the Greek customs. One of the Greek customs was birthday parties, blowing out candles and stuff, which is all witchcraft and things like that, warding off evil spirits. Birthday parties was not in black people's resume to have we're gonna have a birthday party. There is nowhere in scripture where it says celebrate the party of Yahusha, whom you call and the world calls Jesus, right? There's nowhere in scripture where it says have any birthday parties for anybody. That is a pagan custom, right? Birthday parties, pagan customs. Everything seems like it's pagan. Roman captivity, right? They left out one captivity, Islamic captivity. Starting in 724 AD. There were two slave trades of the Hebrews, the blacks, the Africans, the sub-Saharan slave trade and the trans-Saharan slave trade by force, just as well as Christianity. When white people took over the Holy Roman Empire from the black Moors, Pope Nicholas V blessed the first slave ship called SS Jesus. Right? Don't take my word for it. Look it up. SS Jesus. This is how Jesus he looked when he was on this earth, just like when he was in heaven. John said, I was in the spirit, right? Daniel said, I was in the spirit. And guess what? I saw a black man sitting on a throne, the Ancient of Days. Daniel 6th chapter and Daniel the 10th chapter. John said, I was in the spirit. So you can't say, or you can say whatever you want to say. Oh, he was in the spirit. Gee, God is a spirit. He's a spirit. He's just a spirit. He ain't no race. He ain't black or white. He was in. John said, I was in the spirit. Are you going to fight John? Is not his real name in English? That's his English name, Johannes. John said, I was in the spirit, and behold, I saw a black man on a throne. Hair woolly, right? Woolly hair, beard, and his hair on his face and his head. And his feet was at the color of brass or bronze that had been burned in the furnace. Black. Daniel said, I saw the Ancient of Days sitting on a throne. His arms and his legs were the color of what? Brass, bronze. So you can say, oh, he was just his spirit. It doesn't matter whether he black or white. Well, those two prophets said that, right? Those two prophets said that. And when he came to earth through a black woman, as a black man for his black people, and his people, the Judeans, the Hebrews, the blacks, created everything that we use today that benefits the world, right? Everything that you use today that benefits the world. I just had to give a little bit of history. The ancient black Hebrews. I didn't write this book. By Gert Miller. I believe that's a white guy. I didn't write this book. It says the ancient black Hebrews. What can you say? This is hieroglyphs from thousands of years ago. It says the ancient black Hebrews, right? The ancient black Hebrews. John said, I saw a black man sitting on a throne, basically. Daniel said, I saw a black man sitting in the throne. And the Messiah is of the line of David. David is in the line of who? Judah. Judah, because there's no J in Greek and Hebrew, right? These are the Buddhas right here. Everybody was black back then. Everything has been whitewashed. That's what the whole Renaissance period is about. Was and is about. Right? Was and is about. Jesus is Caesar Borgia. Right? Son of one of the popes, Pope Rodrigo Borgia. Very evil, corrupt, wicked family. Right? These are the Buddhas right here. The black Buddhas. And see, it says black Buddhas and Israelite, or Yazurite, because my people are called by his name, Israelites or Yazurite Buddhists. So the original Buddhists were black too. Did they believe in the Most High Yah? No, but they were black. Right? Every time the truth come out, someone try to say, oh, this is racist. If it's racist, why did you paint over the images? Why did they feel the need to make everything in Hollywood, everything, because Hollywood was made by racists. It was made to not make anybody black look good, but to be a mammy or pappy or a slave eating watermelons and all this other stuff, talking slow, acting dumb. I did a whole thing about the Netflix thing. I've looked into Hollywood. We read it together on my other live. Right? Everything in history, okay, you know what? Everything in history is all European or pale skin, all through history. God is everything. Africa, ruling kingdoms, Egypt, dynasties, everything. Everybody in Hollywood was all pale skin or all so-called white. That's just simply not true. Right? Okay, it says this photo was taken in 1921. It shows a little boy carrying the body of his dead sister killed during the massacre of Tulsa, aka Black Wall Street, when white men rampaged in the community with help of the local and federal government. This is something that happened in the past to the Hebrews. Oh, why did these things happen to us? Because we are his people who rejected him. We rejected all of his laws, forgot who we are, and we reject the Messiah in the New Testament. And the Messiah said, when I come back, my people won't be there. That's what he said. You're going to say he didn't exist. He didn't come, right? History of reparations. Oh, the Hebrews, the people that created everything, right? These are the history of the reparations right here. Billions, 1.6 billion to the Japanese, 25 million to all these people getting all these different money, right? 1865, it says 1865 because that's the Emancipation Proclamation happened, right? But emancipation, what happened like a couple months later? Vagrancy laws were created against blacks. Now I'm gonna throw you in prison for the rest of your life, right? I'm throwing you in prison for the rest of your life, or you getting killed, murdered. Oh, you looked at me wrong? You know what? Vagrancy laws. USA, zero. USA give all these other people for what they've been through hundreds of millions of dollars. When it comes to black, 1865, zero. We're gonna make all the laws that oppress you and build us up. Meanwhile, telling you you're lazy, you're stupid, you're dumb. But we're making the laws holding you down, holding you back. Meanwhile, you're inventing stuff for us. Okay, we're gonna give you the patent for this. Okay, you know what? Oh, okay, that's a good patent. All right, now we're gonna make millions off of this, right? And we're not gonna tell the history that you created this. Maybe in a few movies here or there, right? Maybe in a few movies here or there, we're gonna put you in as doing something. But 1865 to the present, nothing. Zero. See, zero. Slavery and Jim Crow era. African Americans, black descendants, zero. Everybody else got everything for that they were given, right? Black people, work. Go to work, lazy. You lazy. You don't want to do nothing. Although we're making the laws to oppress you and suppress you and hold you down as a people. But Moses already said that. Read Deuteronomy 28th chapter. Read the whole entire book of Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezekiel. one nation, one group of people that this is happening to worldwide. Worldwide. Right? Kublai Khan was black. Kublai Khan was black. The Samaritan, a group of Samaritan tribes. Right? Till we get to the inventions before. Okay, gas masking traffic signals. Right? Everything that the Hebrews, Jesus's, or Yahushas, which is his black name, created. Gas masking traffic signals. So when you're at your light, you waiting for the light to turn green, just know that a black man made that right there. Dr. Garrett Morrison, the Hebrews created. Why wouldn't it be? We created everything else, right? A self-educated, right? Self-educated Dr. Garrett Morrison. He made a face mask right here, gas mask, signals right here, and a lot of other things he made, right? A lot of other things that he created. Talk about this in your college or in your school. You talk about these things. Oh, telephone transmitter, railway system, subway system, roller coaster, and more. Dr. Granville T. Woods, right? Oh, the Hebrews, the blacks. Let's say the blacks, the Hebrews, the Elamites who went into slavery and captivity as well. The Hamites, the Cushites, created everything that prospers and benefits the world, right? And their people really get nothing but go to work. You're lazy, you're dumb. We control all media, all movies. We're going to make you look like the worst of the worst. Right? Granville T. Woods, April 13th, 1856 to January 30th, 1910. Oh, chemotherapy. Oh, do you have a family member that need chemotherapy? Developer of cancer treatment, chemotherapy. This tribute to this black woman, Dr. Jane C. Wright, born in 1919. Right? So if you have a family member that needs chemotherapy, maybe they have add things on it over the years and changed things, but she is the original one that created chemotherapy. Come from black people's minds. Everything. Everything. Right? Oh, the next time you relax and change the channel from across the room, give thanks to Dr. Joseph N. Jackson. He invented the remote control. He invented the remote control. Yeah, chemo is a killer now, right? All of the things they put into it and changed and added to it, yeah, it probably is a killer now, but a black person invented it. If it kills now, you know who to blame for that. It ain't nobody black, right? He created your remote control. You want to turn your TV on, your flat screen? He's the one behind it that created your remote control that prospers and benefits the whole world. And his family is probably getting nothing. Oh, Jerry Lawson, a self-taught engineer, video game cartridges, African American history, right? He created the video game, the cartridges, Nintendo, and all those other things. But you'll never hear about him. You'll hear about non-blacks, right? You'll hear about white people, what they did. But this man right here created these things right here. You're not taught this in your so-called prestigious colleges or your prestigious schools, right? Mark Dean, the groundbreaking inventor and computer engineer. Portrait of Mark Dean's phono courtesy, right? Created a microcomputer system called Industry Standard Architecture. Is a computer bus protocol developed in the 1980s for a 8-bit and 16-bit system compatible with IBM. Right? Black people, the Hebrews, Jesus's people, Yahusha is his name for real, created everything that benefits and prospers this world worldwide. And by the way, Africa is the most richest country on the planet, but is impoverished over there. Why is that? Why is that? And black people don't run or control Africa. Because in 1885 there was something called a Berlin Conference, where all European nations, who once they took the black down, the Moors down, and all those European nations, now they control European nations, they stopped fighting for Africa and said, no, we're going to give this out. We're going to take parts of Africa. I'm going to take this part, north part, west part. Switzerland, you're going to take this part. Britain, you're going to take that part. Germany, you're going to... Now, these are places where all black Moors ruled first. And the whites took over through prophecy and history. Prophecy and scripture, right? Oh, Mark Hanna. He invented 3D graphics used in films. What? He invented 3D graphics. This man right here invented 3D graphics. Right? So you can see the effects in Jurassic Park, Terminator 2, and The Abyss, right? But you'll never learn about these inventions in your school, your so-called prestigious school, right? Oh, Sarah Boone, just things that we take for granted. She invented the ironing board, right? She invented the ironing board. I know you probably thought it was somebody else, maybe white or Chinese or I don't know, but a black woman created this, right? Black people created everything that you use every day, that we take for granted, and the world prospers and makes billions, maybe hundreds of millions. Sarah Boone, American inventor, 1832 to 1904, right? Oh, this man. Oh, did you know that dry cleaning was invented in 1821 by a black man named Thomas Jennings? So when you take your stuff to the cleaners, you take your food to the cleaners. When you take your clothes to the cleaners, maybe because I'm hungry, you take your clothes to the cleaners, just think about, wow, a black guy invented this. Wow, that's something. You know that, Bob? Did you know that this dry cleaning was invented in 1821 by a black man named Thomas Jennings? Thomas Jennings owned a dry cleaning business in New York and was the first black man in the United States to be granted a patent. The Hebrews, Yahweh's people, created everything, right? Oh, you have Ring and all these other surveillance system. Did you know surveillance system was created by a black woman? Did you know that? Right? Did you know that? In 1924, forensic scientist, psychologist, therapist, inventor Betsy V. Blunt Griffin was born. Griffin invented a machine that helped amputees feed themselves. A feeding tube carried she created a lot of stuff, right? So this is the surveillance system right here, created by she has another one that's a surveillance system, but she also created this right here, a feeding tube. Do you have a relative in the hospital with a feeding tube? Do you? A black woman created it, right? Microphone. Oh, you've been to a concert before. You've been to a concert before, and you were always in the back, or you were at a sporting event, and they use concerts and speakers so you can hear. They use microphone and speakers so they can hear. Well, guess what? A black man created that by the name of Dr. James E. West. Dr. James E. West, right? Without this, white people, so-called white people, will have nothing. Be back in the caves and stuff, dwelling, trying to get into castles and stuff. But we let them in because, as the Moors said, we love that white skin. We love that pale pink skinned women. And it led to the destruction of the black Moors, right? Led to their destruction. Digitizing telephone and computer signals for smartphone, IG, 2G, 3G, and 4G technology. Dr. Jesse E. Russell Sr., right? Inventor, electrical engineer, and business executive, was born on April 26, 1948 in Norrisville, Tennessee, right? So you're 4'3" and all this. Guess what? Black man created it. But you're not going to see this on no commercials, right? Because commercials are controlled. You're not going to see this on no commercials, right? No commercials. They're not going to talk about that. They're going to keep talking about Steve Jobs. Oh, GPS. Oh, this black woman, Global Positioning System, GPS. She's the one that created it. I can't even see her name either. Let me see. Can I? Oh, here it is. Dr. Let's see something. Gladys West, right? She is the one that gave you your GPS system. Chinese, Japanese, white, whatever you are. She is the one, or black. A black woman created GPS. Might be hard for you to believe it, but a black woman created GPS. Oh, I don't know how to get here. I got a meeting to go to. I got a business meeting, important business meeting. I'm be part of the Fortune 500 company. I have a business meeting. Bob, Billy, can you get the GPS? Tell me where to meet you at? This black woman right here created it. Right? Created it. You created nothing. iPhone, smartphone, and tablet operating system designs created by a black woman. Dr. Donna Auguste, born 1958. Major leader in new smartphone and computer technology. And as it goes, as it's been going, the so-called white person or the Bible, a lot of people believe they are the Edomites, the Edomian people, who God in scripture says, I hate these people. I hate Edom and Esau. I hate them. Never said he loved he never said he hated Jacob or Jacob or the 12 tribes. He said only those people, the only group of people in the Bible that he said I hate from their birth. But when you think of your iPhone, your smartphones, tablet, operating system designs, you know how you can move the app around, you can do all that. Thank this lady. Thank her. A black lady created, I got to get the newest iPhone craze. I got to get the new iPhone 25, 17 or 18. Guess what? A black woman made it. Right? Oh, solar cells, touch tone phones. So you can touch your phone and touch tone phones, call waiting, call ID created by a black woman. Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson. Shirley Ann Jackson. I'm going to show you what white people created in a minute when I come up on it. Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson. She created your caller ID. Remember caller ID was big? Real big. Right? A black woman created. Therapeutic treadmill seat assembly. Right? Dr. L. Cooley. That's his name. Dr. L. Cooley. You see that right there? Therapeutic treadmill seat assembly created by a black man. I can't see all the other writing, but he created hundreds of other things. Right? He created hundreds of other things as black people did. Right? As Jesus's or Yahushas people created. Right? Let there be light, Dr. Lewis H. Lattimore. Oh, they say Benjamin Franklin made it. Okay. He did. White people, so-called white people get patents from everything. I did it. I created everything. All of us. We created everything. It's just a bold-faced lie. Chuck Berry, the Godfather. It says it right here. He created rock and roll. Chuck Berry created rock and roll. And then when you have what's that guy from that group Kiss said, black people, rappers and stuff shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He ended up going back on his words saying, well, black people created rock and roll, created everything. Godfather of rock, tribute to Chuck Berry. Right? Chuck Berry is the one who created rock and roll. Right? Not white people, so-called white people. Not them, Caucasians. Black man created rock and roll. Now it's time to steal it. Oh, he did? Okay, it's time to steal it now. R&B, jazz, gospel, country music, all black people created it. But since it's so saturated now over all these years with, so-called white people, they made it. That guy from Kiss, that group Kiss, I never really heard none of their music. But that guy from Kids said rappers and R&B people should not be allowed in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But he ended up going back on his word saying, well, black people did create rock and roll, right? Black people created rock and roll. Come on. We created everything else. See? Chuck Berry, the real daddy of rock and roll, right? Chuck Berry, the real daddy of rock and roll. That's what everything else, inventions, everything else that prospers the world. You hear Chuck, do you hear about Chuck Berry getting a lot of praise and all over the place from a lot of white entertainers or musicians or rock and roll people? No. It's saturated, but Chuck Berry created rock and roll. And he said, when I was alive, and Elvis was doing his thing, he was still in my songs. A lot of his songs, they would go into his studio sessions, hear him record it, give it to them, and then they would use it, right? But that's what happens to the Hebrews. We weren't born in these lands and in these countries to prosper. That's what Moses said. You're going to be taken in as slaves, not really to prosper or you're going to have to join an organization or something. But you're still going to be looked down upon, and you're going to be called everything but Hebrew, Yazarlite. You're going to be called all sorts of different names. This is what Moses said, right? Oh, she is. Now this benefits women. Thank her. If you're a woman, thank this black woman. She is Mary Patrice Kenner, the woman who invented sanitary pads for women. Her invention has helped billions of women and children to get rid of various diseases. But now they adding diseases to these things. It has stuff in it that messes women up. Why is that? Ask yourself. But this black woman right here is the one that created and they created the brands, tampons and Tampax and all this other stuff come from this woman. And she was they told her you can't, I think her patent, this happened like maybe 15 years later because they didn't want to give her the credit, right? They didn't want to give her the credit for this. So they said, okay, you know what? Women do need it because back then, many years ago, the blood used to run down a woman's legs. And that's why they wore those real long dresses in the 1800s that they stole from the blacks, women, the slaves and stuff, and got the idea, had the black slaves to make those dresses. That's why the dresses were so long. The blood just come down their legs. So thank this black woman right here. She is Mary Patrice Kenner, a Hebrew, a Yazarlite, who invented sanitary pads for women, and it benefits women all over the world. I wonder, do her family get any of that money? This woman right here is our sister. I don't have her name right here, but guess what she created? Oh, toilet paper. I had another picture with her name on it, but I didn't have enough time. Oh, the one black woman, one black sister creates tampons. It was called sanitary pads, and her sister creates toilet paper. And the thing right here that you put it on. Toilet paper holder, right? Toilet paper. This is the sister, right? This is her patent right there. These black women, these Hebrews created everything that you use that you benefit from, right? Everything that you use and benefit from, they created it. And that we take for granted. Oh, it's in a store. Oh, I got to go to another store and get it. They created it. We created it. Our people, black people created it. So when you go to the store and you get your 24 pack of toilet paper, thank this black sister, Miss Patrice, and her sister. When you're going and it's that time of the month for you women of all races, thank these two black women, right? This is her sanitary pad right here, right? I guess the woman had to put it on and pull it up. This is this pad right here. This is what a black woman created, a black inventor created, right? You didn't know this, did you? But a black woman, it's called a sanitary belt at first, right? Sanitary belt. They accepted it. They gave her a patent, it looks like in 1960. But she created this in like what, 1949 or something like that? And they said, oh, you know, it was just two races back then. No, we're not going to, you're a black woman. We're not going to give it to you. Special sanitary right here. This is the pad right here. This is the beginnings of it right here. Right? This is the beginnings of it right here. The Hebrews, the blacks did this right here. So women all over the world, you don't have to have it running down your legs to this black woman. When we go to the bathroom, we get the newspaper, we sit down on the toilet and we pour the tissue. Hopefully you're using tissue. And we pour the tissue and we go to the bathroom. Thank that black sister, Miss Patrice. They are the ones that created tampons that they call tampons. But she called it, this company right here, Kotex, Featherite, eventually bought it and gave her patent for it. Sanitation right here for women right here. It was called the special sanitary. The sanitation pad right here for women. Right? That they gave to her years later. See? This is how it looks now today, maybe. But she is the one behind this. Of course, they added it and changed it up. But the original patents were something like this right here, right? All right, this man right here, African American, he created the tee. Oh, you like playing golf? Hey, we gotta go and play golf. He created the tee that holds the golf ball right here, right? The tee that they hold and they push it down like that. A black man created this right here, right? Black man created this. See the tee right here? This is the tee. Oh, you love playing golf. I'm gonna go and play golf. Hey, me and Billy and Bob, we're gonna go and take our BMW. I just got a Lamborghini and I'm gonna go and take it. We're gonna go to the golf course and we're gonna talk and we're gonna laugh. We're gonna smoke a few cigars. This black man right here would not even know that he created the T right here, right? See, I'm about to swing. It says, did you know Charles S.I. Baker invented the radiator? His invention makes it possible for us to enjoy heated homes and cars. Oh, so black people created radiators. Black people created the Hebrews created radiators. I haven't seen nothing that anybody so-called white made that's benefited. Everything they made, everything they so-called made was taken from black people. Black people invented radiators. Right? He's sitting on a radiator right there, right? This day in black history, in 1980, mechanical engineer Janie, and they always use this guy's picture, Metziger, was granted the patent, invented the shoelacing machine. Oh, shoelacing machine. Lacing is the process of attaching the upper part of the shoe to the sole. So that's how we got our shoes, right? Black people did create hockey. I wish I had that slide. That's true. So that's how we got shoes, because somebody black created it. So we could put our foot into it, our feet into shoes. He created something that made shoes, right? Oh, I love Michael Jordans, but I love Jordans. I love Nike, Adidas. But the first person to make this was this black man right here, right? Oh, you don't talk about this in your so-called prestigious colleges, your prestigious schools that talk about nothing. A black man invented the modern elevator in 1887. Oh, the elevator. 1887, right? Alexander Miles was a black inventor who is best known for inventing the automatic opening and closing door elevator. It's not a surprise. Not a surprise. The black people, the Hebrews, Jesus's or Yahushas people created everything, and everything that benefits the world, make billions off of, and they take the patent for it. This black man who designed Washington, D.C., the inventor of America's first clock, Benjamin Banneker, right? A black man invented the modern toilet in 1872. Back in the day, they just had a big hole in something, sit down on it. But he invented the toilet. right? In 1872. And a black woman came along and created toilet paper. Created toilet paper, right? Because YouTube is trying to blurry up my pictures so you can't read it. You know, the devil is always working, right? That's all right. Right? This is Thomas Elkins, 1818 to 1900. He is the one that created and invented the toilet, right? He invented the toilet. Did you know that Crest toothpaste, Folgers coffees, Bounce fabric softener, and Safeguard soap were all created by an African-American man? Dr. Herbert Smitherman, with a PhD in physical organic chemistry, was a pioneering executive and professional chemist. You may not use any of these products, but he's the one that created Crest, Folgers coffee, right? Bounce fabric softener, and Safeguard soap. You might never even use it, but he's created it, and he created a lot of other things, right? Oh, if you enjoy the internet, think an African American man named Emmett McHenry created a complex computer code whereby ordinary people can now surf the web or have emails without studying computer science. He created what we know today as simply as .com. Oh, so this man created .com, right? Do you get taught this in your so-called expensive, prestigious colleges, prestigious schools? Most black contributions to society are intentionally suppressed to perpetuate the myth of all white racial superiority. It is a psychological warfare program used for maintaining so-called white dominance. The person that wrote that says, wake up. Right? So if you do something.com, something.com, this black man created .com. Don't take my word for it, look it up. Google this man. What is his name? Emmett McHenry. Google it. Moses already said these things will happen. Jeremiah, Ezekiel. Meet the first African-American entrepreneur to develop his own 4G LTE smartphone. Freddie Friggers. This is somebody that's recently, I think in 2020 this was, I believe, founder of Figures Communications Zone, the first and only black-owned telecommunications firm, head-on with AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. So it's just as good as that, right? In 1753, Benjamin Banneker created the first clock in the United States. Banneker's clock was so advanced that it kept accurate time for over 50 years until it was destroyed in a mysterious house fire. Well, you know who burned it down, on the day of his funeral. So the day he died, they burned it down. But they said it was mysterious. Yahushas people created everything. The world calls Yahusha Jesus, which means earth swine. The S-U-S means pig, snout, swine. Don't take my word for it, look it up. Oh, you like going, I'm going to go and see the newest movie in 3Ds. He invented 3D glasses. Right? He invented 3D glasses. Kenneth J. Dunkley is a leader of the field of holography. He is currently the president of the Holograph Laboratories, Inc. and is best known for creating glasses that display 3D effects. So black people basically made everything. Anything that, I'm going to go and see the new movie in 3D. Paying $30 or $40 more this movie to see it in 3D. IMAX. Thank this black man right here. He created 3D, and so you can go to IMAX and see it, and he created it. All right. Great example. It says, how do we know Mark Zuckerberg, but not the man who created the device we use all day, every day? Jesse Eugene Russell is the inventor of the digital cell phone. Isn't that something? This black Hebrew man, right? This man right here, or Elamite, Hamite, or Cushite, black, created the phones that has people using this and being on this all day, right? All day. Black people created everything. Jesus's people, Yahushas people, created everything, right? Because Jesus, that you call Jesus, Yahusha or Emmanuel, is black. He created everything, heaven, earth, everything. And his people created these things. So it's not a far stretch. Richard B. Spikes received a patent for an automatic gear shift for cars. They couldn't really shift cars, right? They couldn't really shift till this black man created a gear shifter. See? Park, reverse, neutral, drive, right? These things right here that we take for granted, this black man right here created. You ain't gonna see no commercials about him, right? Right? You're not gonna see no commercials about him. See? Skin like bronze and hair like wool. Which ones fit the description of what John and Daniel saw? John and Daniel both said, I was in the spirit. So before you say, Jesus is a spirit, Yahusha is a spirit, it doesn't matter. He's a spirit. John said, I was in the spirit. Daniel said, I was in the spirit. Are you going to fight scripture? And they said, I saw a black man on a throne. John said, I saw a black man on the throne. And Daniel said, I saw a black man on the throne. Which one looks like a black man? Race doesn't matter. Race doesn't matter. Who said race? The word race was created in the early 1800s for division. Religion was created in the late 1700s for division. Yah's people, Yahushas, whom you call Jesus, this is Jesus, this is the devil, this is the beast religion, this is Caesar Borgia, right? This is Caesar Borgia. Pope, son of Pope Rodrigo Borgia, who was a very corrupt family. Caesar Borgia raped his sister, murdered his brother. He died from syphilis. Look, read up about the Borgias. There's a show on Netflix called The Borgias, right? Read up on them. Very evil, corrupt family. But this is the person they said, we want the world to worship. We're going to go into African places where black peoples are at, the Hebrews, the blacks, and we're going to kill, murder, subjugate them to believe and worship this image right here. And then we'll turn you into good little Christians. And that's only after they took over the Holy Roman Empire from the Black Moors, who were Christians. But the Black Moors didn't go into Africa killing, murdering, raping, saying, believe in our God. Ease us. Right? They didn't do that. When these people took over, they said, we're going in there, all the lands where all the blacks are at. We're taking all of them down, and you're going to worship Christianity, and you're going to worship this image instead of this image. Right here. Don't believe me. Look this word up. Doubt me. Right? Black history. Did you know pencil sharpener, trolley power system, first traffic light, street sweeper truck? I don't even need to read that because we're going to see some of that. His name is Yahuwah, the name of the Father, Exodus 13:14. Look in the Ethiopian Bible. Look in the Hebrew Bible. It says Yahuwah or Yah or Yahweh. Yahusha is the name of the Son, Luke 1:31. The world says Jesus or Isus. Yahusha, the name of the Son, not Yeshua, because Yeshua is found in the Babylonian Talmud, and it means may his name be ever blotted out and forgotten forever. That's where Yeshu comes from. There was a rabbi named Yeshu something, and they said it sounds similar to that. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Yeshua is not Yeshua, is Yah. My people are called by my name. Matthew in English is Matthew, but in Hebrew is Mathayahu. Isaiah name is in English is Isaiah. In Hebrew is Yeshayah. Yeshayah. Jeremiah is Jeremiah. In Hebrew, Jeremiah, because there's no letter J in Greek or Hebrew. No, not Y-E-S. Yeshu, nothing. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. It's in the Babylonian Talmud. Right? So all of the Gentiles, all of the nations that were taken over by the Europeans all over, as Second Esdras, this is the book that was removed from the KJV during European rule between 18. See, hallelujah. Nope. There's no J in Greek or Hebrew. So how are you saying J? It's Yah. Not hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yah. Yahuwah. Yahusha. Yahweh. The enemy said Yeshu and added J between the years of 1881 and 1894. 95, that letter J was added into scripture. So once the so-called whites took down the blacks, the Moors, and all of the nations, these are the fate of the Gentile nations in 2nd Esdras 11:36-46. Because we're no longer ruling those places no more. America, England, Germany, France, Russia, Spain, etc. From the Greco-Roman Empire, not only are all related, they are used a symbol of the eagle. Whether either as a national bird, a flag, or crest, this eagle, according to prophecy, will receive great judgment from Yahweh, the Most High, Yahuwah, Yahusha, chiefly because of his perpetual abuse and hatred of Yah's chosen people, Yazarel. Right? I had to read it because, YouTube probably blurring it up on purpose. But this is not normally the phone that I use anyway, right? This is Jesus right here that the world loves and worships right here. It says the false Jesus, or his name is Jesus. That's who Caesar Borgia is, Jesus. Here are some of his attributes, right? This is who the world worships. False churches, right? He will allow everyone into heaven. He came to bring peace and not division. See, they got the false Jesus. They mean false Yahusha, because his name is Jesus. Jesus is for these people right here. That's why they put a J in there and made it for them. That's who these people. That's who this is for. Not us, not blacks. This is for them. They went into black lands years ago, forcing the blacks to convert or die. Right? Look it up. 1492. Look it up. He doesn't require holiness, right? He doesn't require repentance. He only preaches on love. He never says anything offensive. That's in every church, in every so-called fake false gospel song. He never tells anyone they're wicked. He calls everyone his children. He will not send anyone to hell. He wants you to do your own will. His commandments are just suggestions, right? That's the churches, most of the churches today, the false gospel music today. That's who they worship, Caesar Borgia, every time they say Jesus, right? Every time they say Jesus, that's Caesar Borgia. If you are following this Jesus, because that's who it is, they say false Jesus, but his name is Jesus, because Jesus is Caesar Borgia, the European image of my black Messiah, Yahusha HaMashiach, right? Because when you read the Hebrew Bible, it says Yahusha. When you read the English Bible, it says Jesus. Or King James was a black Moor, so he didn't have Jesus. He had Isus, I-E-S-U-S. They added a J to it, right? It says, if you are following this Jesus, thought I'd let you know his real name is who? Satan. Christian, if you're a Christian, Catholic, you're part of the beast religion, right? Beast religion. And this is what eventually happened to the Hebrews in the millions, in the hundreds of millions all over the world, especially when the Catholics took over and took the black Moors down everywhere, right? And they had a party and celebration, and they had someone called Sinterklaas in the early 1500s. Sinterklaas, who had black slaves, the black Moors as slaves, little children. This country adopted it later and called his name Santa Claus, and had little elves, but really his name was Sinterklaas. These people right here, enslaved, are the people that made everything, created all the inventions that you see today, right? This is what, white So-called white people, Caucasians, whatever, Edomites. This is what they have invented. Pain, death, diseases, plague, right? These things right here, nothing that benefits anyone. See, black people, we make stuff that benefits everybody, the whole world. This is what's created. Slavery. I'm talking about not Egyptian slavery, not Persian slavery, not Babylonian slavery. No, slavery of the worst type in history, the worst type of slavery ever, right? If a white slave master woman saw a pretty black girl, she would do something and mess her up, stab her up, mess her face up, break her bones. It's written down so she can be an invalid and nobody will look at her as beautiful, because they were jealous because they didn't want the slave masters' their white husbands to like her. It's written down. This man right here, back to the inventions. Did you know that the spark plugs were invented February 2nd, 1839 by a black man named Edmund Berger? Don't we need these for our cars? Don't we need these for the cars? Spark plugs. I told you, black people make everything that benefits the entire planet. Right? The entire planet. See, if there's a book called Black People Invented Everything. Invented everything. Black people created everything. Right? We made the pyramids. The Hebrews, the scripture said the Hebrews made the pyramids. And by the way, Jesus is not the name, it's not his Hebrew, black, African, Judah name. Jesus is not his black, African, Judah name. It's Yahusha. Yahusha, or as the scripture says, Emmanuel, interpreted Yah with us. Right? On this day, 1891, the famous inventor John Standard was awarded patent for making what? A refrigerator. Oh, so you mean to tell me black man created a refrigerator? Yes, he did. They have refrigerators now with 2 doors and freezer, but it all came from this black man's mind. He may be a Hebrew, Cushite, Hamite, Elamite, came from his mind. Right? He is the one that created these things. Right? Black people created everything that benefits the world. This man right here, this black man right here, invented the modern day fireproof safe. 1886, Henry Brown. He created the fireproof safe. Fireproof safe. Right? John W. Smith, inventor of the lawn sprinkler. You see those big mansions with all them sprinklers, and you might have sprinklers outside your house. J.W. Smith, inventor of the lawn sprinkler, patents on May 4th, 1897. 1897. So black people, May 4th, created everything. I wonder, is his family getting any money from this right here? Probably not. This day in black history, it says African-American inventor Alfred L. Krall received a patent for his ice cream mold, right? Ice cream scoop. So stuff that we take for granted, somebody black made. How you scoop the ice cream out? This black man right here created it. I guess white people, black man created ice cream. Man, what am I thinking about? Meet George T. Sampson, black man who invented America's first clothes dryer. First clothes dryer was created by a black man, a Hebrew or a Hamite or even a Canaanite or a Cushite, right? When you have dryers, I'm going to go and look for a new dryer. Thank this man right here. Meet George T. Sampson. Thank him for creating a dryer, right? I like to show these people in using these black inventions, right? Because that's who takes it and makes all of the money, right? But a black man created this right here. Dryers, right? See this laundromat right here, full of dryers right here. Somebody black created a dryer, the first dryer, because we wanted our clothes dry, right? See? Black man created this right here. Hebrew, Hamite, Cushite, Canaanite, right? They said this is his first inventions, type dryers and stuff right here, right? See? Meanwhile, while we were creating all of these, don't forget the curses that Moses said. We were not brought into these lands or anything to prosper. The curses of the blacks, the Hebrews. Now, well, let's see what group of people this fit. This is the Deuteronomy 28th chapter. So while they're making all of these wonderful inventions, they're still being racialized and hated. I experienced it firsthand too, not long ago. They're still being hated while they're inventing, racialized, probably raped, beaten, and still inventing, because the blacks were not brought to these countries to prosper, but to be slaves. That's what Moses said. Slavery, captivity, having no power to stand against your enemies. Sent back to Mizraim again by ships, Egypt, by ships. Egypt means bondage, labor, slavery, right? Exiled in the land of their enemies, scattered among all nations. Those are the blacks, a very sick and disease-stricken people, at the bottom socially with other races or nations high above them. Lost the true knowledge of who they are and will be called by many scornful nicknames other than Yazarel and a Hebrew. Packed into prisons and jails, a non-prosperous people, and oppressed people by their enemies. And we will be very religious and members of all other religions. And these are the curses, start of the curses that Moses said, Deuteronomy 28 chapter. Right? Deuteronomy 28 chapter talks about these black people, the Hebrews, the Yazarelites. Right? These are the curses. Even though while we're making all these wonderful inventions, the curses. This man right here created potato chips. I wish I had his name. This man right here created the potato chips. So while they're creating all these things, Moses's and Christ's prophecy of his people are still going to be racially hated in all nations, right? He created potato chips. All the chips that you like, a black man created the first potato chips. See? Created everything. This woman, okay, she created a breathing type of feeding tube. She also created the surveillance system. In 1966, the idea for a home surveillance system was invented by this lady right here, Mary Van Button, right? She created the home surveillance system. This is the first surveillance system, right? Right? A black woman. So when you got Ring, you got all these surveillance type of things, right? Just know that black people created it, right? The people of the Most High. This black man right here created a dustpan. L.P. Ray, August 3rd, 1897. This black man, see everything that the world and we take for granted that we use every day, oh, just a dustpan. A black man, a Hebrew, Elamite, Hamite, Canaanite, or Cushite, whatever one he is, created this right here. And the world prospers and benefits from it. Louis T. Lattimore created a stove. He created the first stove. Right? He created a lot of things. So stove is very important, right? Everybody want to cook, right? Well, a black man created the stove. Right? This is just amazing things that we use every day. Cooking time. Black man created your stove and my stove that we have. Right? This man right here created the mechanism for caskets to drop into the ground. What is his name? I don't even have, let me see something. Does it say his name up there? It says, I don't see his name, but he created the mechanism in which you can drop it down into the ground, right? In 1888, African-American inventor Matthew A. Cherry received a U.S. patent for his invention, the tricycle. Just stuff that we take for granted. I'll go to Walmart and get a tricycle for my child. A black man created that too, right? When enslaved, this is something that white people did create, okay? When enslaved males turned 15 years old and younger, in some cases, they had their first inspection. Boys who were underdeveloped had their testicles castrated and sent to the market or used on the farm. Each enslaved male was inspected to get 12 females pregnant a year. The men were used for breeding for 5 years. One enslaved man, Bert, produced more than 200 offspring according to the slave narratives. So that's something that they did create, right? Right? That's something that they did create. Not black people, but not even the Moors was doing this. Not even the Egyptians were doing this when when the blacks were enslaved. When blacks had when the Cushites and the Hamites had the Hebrews enslaved, they wasn't doing stuff like this. Right? Oh, it was the Moors who taught the Europeans how to bathe and how to properly sanitize their environment. They didn't know. These people right here didn't know how to wash up, how to clean. And originally they had hair all over their face and all over their bodies. The Moors shaved them down and civilized them and told them how to talk, how to act, how to eat. No, don't eat with a hand. Use something to eat with. Don't try to pick the food up with your feet. Don't pick the food up with your feet and between your toes. No, use and stop using your hands to wipe yourself. After you poop, stop using your hands. We're going to teach you how to be civilized. They say it's the other way around, right? So they're watching them. Oh, this is how we wash. This is how we bathe. This is how we clean. It was the Moors who did this. And these people right here eventually turned on the Moors and started murdering them. Don't take my word for it, read. Never forget that the media images of black people are controlled by who? White men or the Edomite men. The real-life Marine Sergeant Jason Thomas, who, after seeing the destruction of 9/11 Twin Towers, gets the Marine uniform and goes directly to the site of the wreckage. Unasked, nobody asked him, saving the lives of New York Port Authority officer. This African-American Marine is a real hero. But the person that they used, the Marine, was so heroic that they decided to portray him as a white in the Town Towers movies. He got whited out. This person right here got whited out. Not a surprise. Not a surprise. So he got whited out. So not only is black people the defenders of everything, but the most heroic people in history. Look it up. Interesting fact. C.R. Patterson and Sons was the only black created, owned, and operated automobile manufacturer to ever exist in 1939. The company was driven out of business by the big three auto manufacturers. I wonder who. Ford, probably GM, and I don't know who the other one was, but no surprise, right? C.R. Patterson, Charles Patterson, created the first car right here, the first type of cars. And those people took it. We're going to take the patents for this and just make it all about us, right? We're going to make it all about us as everything else is, right? Why you were not taught in school was not real black history. It's not, right? It was a marginalized version of history that was created to perpetuate the myth of white superiority. Well, they are superior now by the Most High. His people, the blacks, rejected him in Old and New Testament. In history, we did. So he said, I'm going to let these other people rule over you and be over you, and you're going to go into slavery and persecution and captivity all over the world. And they're not going to regard you whether you are a young child, an infant, which they threw in the swamps and stuff for alligators. They threw the black babies to alligators so they can make clothes and shoes and stuff. They're not going to care about how old you are or how young you are. They're not going to have no regard for age when you're a black person, right? Moses, Ezekiel, Jeremiah were all black. They already prophesied it and said it. Charles Richard Patterson was born in 1833. He was a black slave who gained his freedom and became an inventor and entrepreneur, inventing the motorized carriage and subsequently opening one, the first and only car company. The idea was stolen, and Henry Ford took the credit, right? No surprise. They can, take credit for stealing stuff. But they did, the so-called white people did invent this, the whipping post. It says our ancestors were tied to this device and beaten until they confessed their love for Christ. You hear that? This is something that, white people did invent. The whipping post. Our ancestors or forefathers and foremothers were tied to this device and beaten until they confessed their love for Christ. Please do not believe us, but rather look it up for yourselves. Oh, it's no surprise there, right? Frederick Jones invented the refrigerator used in trucks, ships, and airplanes, plus 60 other patents. 60 other patents, right? Celebrating Black Victor, Frederick Jones again. Jones was best known for the development of refrigerating equipment used to transport food and blood during World War II. I never seen no movie about him. Jones also developed a device to combine moving pictures and sound. So you mean to tell me a black man is behind television? Where his movie at? Where's Hollywood's movie at? Right? For this person right here. This is the refrigerator that was used in, 1903, self-taught engineer Charles S.L. Baker invented a friction heater. The device is a variation of a radiator. Right? Is a variation of a radiator. I see YouTube blurring my videos up. It's okay. Charles B. Brooks, 1865 to 1956. Brooks sweeper was the first self-propelled street sweeper's truck. His design had revolving brushes, and so when you think about your street sweepers, guess what? A black man created it. All right? Charles C. Brooks, looks like 1906 or something, 1900. Patent March 17th, 1906 or 1806. This is the street sweeper. So when you see your street sweepers going up and down your block, sweeping, cleaning it, guess what? A black man invented and created it. Black people created everything, right? Black people created everything. Yah's people that you call God, God's people, created everything. He told us in the beginning of Genesis, be fruitful and multiply. Means make everything. That means keep making stuff, keep making things. Just like I did, keep making it. Right? Made everything. This is the clearer patent right there. 1895. Right? This is the patent right here. That this black man, this Hebrew, this Yazerlite, this Hamite, or this Cushite, right? Created everything. We created everything. This is the street sweeper right here. Charles Brooks' first patent on self-propelled street sweeper. And the white people say, oh, that's good. We could use that for our neighborhoods. Your neighborhoods stay in wreckage. But we're going to use this for our neighborhoods now. We're going to take all the credits, and you ain't going to get no movie about this either. We are never going to talk to you about this movie. We never going to make no movie of no black inventors. Look, these are the older street sweepers right here. All created, come from the mind of a black man. Black people, we made the sphinxes in ancient Egypt, all of the buildings all over the world that was taken over by the Catholic Church once the black Moors were taken down, right? This man right here, George Carruthers, African-American inventor. George Carruthers was a physicist and space scientist who invented a UV camera that was used in NASA Apollo 16 launch in 1972. His contributions to space science helped reveal the realities of space, Earth, and its atmosphere. So he created a UV camera. A UV camera this black man created. So first of all, so far I've seen just things that white people created that destroyed black people. Right? All we creating is things that add to the world. Right? And they say, oh, we could benefit from that. Yeah, I need to do that. I need that. Joseph Richard Winters, August 29th, 1824 to November 29th, 1916. African American inventor. He created what? Fire escape. May 7th, 1878. He created the fire escape. Oh, it's a fire. Come on, run down the fire escape. Or go up. A black man created this. Right? He created the fire escape. And of course, they added on to it as the years went by. But Yah's people made these things. This man right here, guess what? He made your fire extinguisher. Thomas J. Martin, patent March 5th, March 26, 1870 something. He made the first fire extinguisher right here. Fire extinguisher made by a black man. Fire escape made by a black man. A toilet. These are your fire extinguishers, right? Of course, it's advanced. They added on to it. They added stuff to it, made it more, but right? See? Black man created a fire extinguisher. Where are the Hollywood movies for these inventors? With thousands of inventions that were all stolen, mostly all stolen. Where are the inventions? Where are the Hollywood movies talking about these black inventors? Right? J.E. Purdy and D.A. Sajwar created a folding table. Folding chair, it says. See? Or folding table created by someone black. Black people, God's people, or Yah's people created these things. Right? This is the person who created it. This person right here created. Leonard C. Bailey created it says a folding bed right here, 1825, 1918, right? He created this type of bed right here. This type of bed where you could fold it. At T. Will 817, shalom and blessings to you. Thank you for subscribing. My channel is all about history of Yah's people that the world calls God or Jesus Christ. Is all about the history of us, whether it be good or bad history, world history, biblical history, books that are not, that will remove this, what my whole channel is about. Right? This black man created a pencil sharpener. I remember, I'm old enough, but I remember using pencil sharpeners in school, in preschool. He created the pencil sharpener, right? You put the pencil in, and if you're young, you hold it like that, and it goes around. But a black man created his name is J.L. Love, pencil sharpener. Patent November 23rd, 1897. Black man created a pencil sharpener, right? This is the pencil sharpener made by him. It was patented in 1897, I think it said. Black people created everything. Henry Blair, born in Glenrose, 1807, the first inventor was the seed planter, patent 1840. So he created a seed planter right here. Will you hold these two ends, I guess, and you push it, and the seeds come out. See right here. But a black man created a seed planter right here. A seed planter, a black man created. One of God's or one of Yah's people. Right? 1834, I see it right there. Patent 1834. Where's the Hollywood movies for this? Where's the Hollywood movies for inventions? Right? This is another black man created what? The ambulance. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? He got his patent August 7th, 1866, a black man created the ambulance, right? Ambulance. Black man created a baby carriage, patent December 8th, 1896 too, right? So black person made a ambulance. You hold the person in there and you run like you see those really old movies. The person lay down and they just run with wheels on it to the man. That's right. This is what is this right here? Oh, steam fire engine poster, right? All the stuff black people made. Black people also made bicycle. Black people made bicycles, right? Bicycle patent, right? Patent in 1890. So God's people, or Yah's, Jesus's people, made in his image and his likeness, whose name is Yahusha, black Yah, made all of these creations right here, right? Invented all of these things. A black man in 1889 made the ambulance right here. See? 1889 ambulance. Right? Look at this. This is a tow truck was made by somebody black. December, right? This is patent for the tow truck right here. Somebody black made it. Right? This man right here made the lamp, a lantern or a lamp. 1884. You know that movie Green Lantern, a Marvel comic person? Patent August 19th, 1884. So black people made all of these things, no Hollywood movies for it. See, that's the lantern right there today. No Hollywood movies for this. Why would they do that? Hollywood was not created for black people to be good in any good light. But a mammy, a pappy, or a slave, or talking slow and eating watermelon and all this other stuff. Right? Right? Dishwashing machine created by a black man. Oh, you didn't notice. J.G. Cochran created a dishwashing machine. Patent December 28th, 1886. So a black man created a dishwashing machine right here. You see? A black person created that. Oh, you didn't know that. You just know about the companies that bought it out. Maytag or, but black people created everything that we use, that the world prospers and the world benefits from. I wonder if his family getting any money from this, right? Dishwashing machine company, the Garris Cochran, after they bought it out from the black person, his patent, and right? Said the great domestic problem solved. Dishwashing machine. This black woman, Selma Burke, never received credit for her portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, which was later featured on the U.S. dime. This black woman, this picture this right here, the U.S. dime that she did, she never received credit for it. Never got a dime. She never got a dime for that. And her image ended up on the dimes that we have in our pockets today. Right? This is the dime right here that she did and didn't get a dime, didn't get one red penny or one silver dime from this. Right? But Moses said it would be like that. You're not gonna, wasn't brought over here to prosper. No. Ambulance, right? This is what the black man invented. Of course, they added things to it, but another black man created, as we said in the video, I showed you in this live earlier, he created the things to keep things cold. He created a freezer to keep things cold. Maybe in this right here, blood, pathogens, and different things that you have to keep cold. Black man created that. This black woman right here, there's two pictures, created a Heating furnace. December 23rd, 1919. That black woman created a heating furnace. Right? This is her patent. Oh, her name was A.H. Parker. Right? Black woman. And by the way, the first popes were black. The first pope, this is a pope right here. I don't have his name. I had his name on another one. But this black pope right here, the black popes, the black nuns, the black priests, the black bishops, when Black Constantine took over in 1294 AD, everybody was black. In the late 1400s, everybody was white. European pale skin, they took over the empire back to the Roman Empire instead of the Holy Roman Empire named by the blacks, right? Now they look like this today. There was a black pope that was supposed to get elected, but he didn't, right? These are just a few of the pictures after the whites had taken over. The original people right here were turned to this, right? They were turned to this. 1697 to 1731, Louise Hippile, Princess of Monaco. Now the Princess of Monaco that you're taught in your so-called prestigious, expensive college looks like this, right? Alfonso the fifth king of Portugal. It says the Israelites or Yazulite ruled, divided Europe. This is the before, this is the after. This is what you're taught in your schools, all lies, right? Francis, Duke of Aguilde, 1555 to 1584. This is how he originally looked. Remember I told, and this is how he looked after. This is what you're taught in your colleges and your universities. That everybody ruling in the history, whether it be France, Spain, Britain, England, were all looking like this. With it, in actuality, that's a bold-faced lie. This is how they looked, right? Louis the Sixth, King of France. Israelites ruled divided, right? This is how he looked right here. But when you go to your colleges or universities, they're going to teach you that this person ruled, right? The Book of Jubilees, 2216. This is a book that was removed by European rule between the years of 1881 and 1895. The Book of Jubilees, 2216. And do thou, my son Jacob, or Jacob, that's talking to somebody black, remember my words and observe the commandments of Abraham, thy father. Separate thyself from the nations, and eat not with them, and do not according to their works, and become not their associates. For their works are unclean, and all of their ways are a pollution and an abomination and uncleanliness. It says, dear black people, we were never supposed to integrate with other nations according to Yah. Right? According to Yah. Right? Russian icons of the true Messiah. They spent trillions to hide this truth. The truth shall set you free, right? That is the Christ in the middle. Remember, Daniel said I was in the spirit. John said I was in the spirit, and I saw a black man sitting on a throne. This picture is from hundreds of years. This is probably from, I don't know, 800 BC. 800 AD or something like that. 500 AD. The image of the Christ, the true image of the Christ. The Moors, this is what George Washington don't know who we are, and Moses said, you're not going to know who you are. George Washington, if we would agree to take the feathers and the turbans off the Moors, or the blacks' heads, and remove the sandals from their feet and enforce severe punishment, and to do also swear a death oath between ourselves to religiously and faithfully not allow anyone to teach the Moorish children who they really were or are, or who their forefathers were, and only allow the Moorish children to be taught that they were truly Negroes only, black people and color folks. 200 years from today, the Moorish people would not know their nationality nor the national name of their forefathers. Also, they will not know from which land or ancestors they are descended from. So when the Moors were taken down, beginning in 1492, that is what happened, right? That is what happened. And by the way, the word American means, don't take my word for it. Look up the English Heritage Dictionary of 1828. Doubt everything I'm saying. The English Heritage Dictionary of 1828 said American. American meant originally copper colored people found here by the Europeans. Copper colored people found here by the Europeans, and is now used by the Europeans and their children. It says America must always exalt the pride of patriotism. That is the original definition. And it was a white person that wrote that. That is the original definition of American. American. Black people were already in American, this gland right here, when it was invaded by people that look like him. Right? It says the primate black nations of America, the Society of Geography, having offered a reward for the best memoir of the origin of the Asiatic Negroes. I sent them last year 2 memoirs, one of these Asiatic Negroes, wherein I demonstrated the affinities of their languages and the African and Polynesian Negroes. African and Polynesians. The Polynesians are very white looking now due to colonization, as well as the Hindus who were Negroes back then, and Chinese and renders it probable that all the Negroes originated in southern slopes of the Himalaya mountains, as they did exist all over India. These Negroes, right? South China, Japan, Persia, and Arabia. So everywhere these Negroes, these blacks, these Hebrews were all over already. Right? China, he said China, Japan, Persia, and Arabia. My second memoir was on the Negroes or black nations found in where? In America. Found in America before Columbus, wherein I provide their existence and connection. This is called The Primitive Black Nations of America by Professor S.C. Raffensquay, which is a white guy that was writing this. This is a very old book. So where were these Negroes found in? African, Polynesian, Hindus, Chinese. Renders it portable that the Negroes originated in southern slopes, South China, India, Arabia, Persia. Black nations found in America. Right? Benjamin Franklin, what did he say about the Moors? Right? The creators of everything. What did Benjamin Franklin say? All right, let's read what Benjamin Franklin said. Because someone said, get the F out my country. But black people are the original Americans. Right? It says in the year 1664, there were 700 Dutchmen besides the real Dutch, Prussians, Bohemians, French, Swedes, Norwegian, Danes, and 500 English, including Scots, Welsh, and Irish. I can prove that these people were black. See right here? I can prove that these people were black. Yes, I can see Benjamin Franklin's essay, America as a Land of Opportunity, in 1751. So let's see what Benjamin Franklin said. Benjamin Franklin said, why should the Palatine Moors be suffered to swarm into our settlements? Meaning the settlements, they took over America from the blacks. Now they saying it's our settlement. They will never adopt our customs any more than they can obtain our complexion. This is what Benjamin Franklin, don't take my word for it, look it up. See, my complexion. All of Africa. So Benjamin Franklin is going to name all the black places that's not going to never take on the white, whatever they. All of Africa, Asia, and America are swarthy. Swarthy means black. Are swarthy. Russia, Italy, Spain, France, Swedes, and the Germans are black. Oh, that's who originally I just was saying this whole live. The originals were. The principal whites are made up of the Saxons, the English, the Scots, the Welsh, and Irish are not Saxons. Benjamin Franklin writes the essay in 1751. The black German king George II is sitting on the throne of England. See why they want to get rid of books, right? Okay, Irish coat of arms. Family Gilbert crest. This is an image of a black Irish coat of arms from the Gilbert family. Three of the Gilberts related to this coat of arms have been France, has been traced to the Barbados. Thomas Gilbert, Barbadians, 1635. Francis Gilbert, Virginia, 1736. Right? So these are some of the coats of arms. So before we started creating, well, we've been creating things, right? Image of Christ. This is from 18th century Greece. But this image is very, very old because it's in Russian icons, right? It says 18th century Greece, right? Russian icons of the original Messiah. It says prehistoric times, written by James Anderson, a right person. Riddles of Prehistoric Times by James Anderson, 1911. It says the little dark Welshmen, the Scots and black Celts to the west of the Shannon River in Ireland, as well as the same kind of men in Brittany, which is Britain, and Aquitaine and France and Guanches and the Canary Islands and the Berbers in Africa are all probably the resemblance, the remnants of the race, which is they're talking about the black race, right? Ancient cultures, the defacement of the replicants, right? This is, I believe this is Assyrian, the Egyptians right here. You know, the Egyptians were black. So I'm just proving that before we came to this, or a lot of other blacks came to this land called America, we were already in rulership. From ancient Egypt, this right here, this kingdom, which they got rid of the nose and the lips, it looks like, to all the way up to Britain, France, Spain, Germany. But I was told in school that we were just slaves and, that's it. It's a lie, right? Edom. This is the so-called, the people that they say are the so-called white person. Ezekiel 25:12. Thus save Yah, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah, the blacks, by taking vengeance and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Edom is the place where they say that the people that God hates, that Yah hates. But I've come to the end of this live right here to show you that black people, Elamites, Cushites, Hamites, Israelites, Yazraelites, all the biblical people, Moors, created everything that benefits the world today. But you'll never really see no Hollywood movies. It should be hundreds of Hollywood movies about blacks inventing and creating things. But you're not going to see that because the blacks already ruled already. We have only been under, I'll say, European rule since what? I don't know, for 700 years maybe? But blacks have been ruling for thousands of years, going all the way back to the dynasties of ancient Egypt, ancient Assyria, ancient Persia, Greece, the Medes and the Persians. Black people been ruling for thousands of years, but we messed up. We denied Yahushas, whom the world calls Jesus, and we also deny of doing and keeping the 613 laws, statutes, and commandments. That's why when he left, he said, I'm leaving you a comforter. I'm leaving you my spirit. Right? So yes, we created everything. Black people created everything that prospers and benefits the world today. I didn't know this video was going to be that long. This live was going to be that long. But anyone that subscribed, feel free to subscribe and share. I'm going to say blessings. Peace. It's over 2 hours. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, his people, Jesus, or Yahushas, people in his image and his likeness created everything that you and I use today. And the other nations, the enemies of Yah's people, have came and taken it and added different stuff to it, different things, and enhanced it more. But the original ideal comes from black people's minds. So I'm going to say blessing, peace, and shalom. And thank you for, you can feel free to check this video out again, like it and share it, subscribe. In the name of Yah, peace and blessings. Shalom.